It's Teacher Appreciation Week. Unfortunately, with the ongoing pandemic, we can't properly honor them with the only teacher's gift that makes sense, a solid gold apple and a Trapper Keeper full of cash. I asked Allana Harkin to find out about how teachers are working with parents during this new era.
Hollywood tells us that education during the apocalypse looks like this.
You have to do every single thing I say, or we will not make it. Understand?
But my pandemic teaching looks more like this.
So this is a W4, and by the end of today's lesson, you're gonna have to be able to do my taxes.
Okay.
I wanted to find out how over 50 million students and their teachers are dealing with remote teaching. So in between rage teaching new math to my kids and dog squats, I found a moment to do my actual job.
I'm sorry.
This is Dr. Diane Ravitch, New York Times bestselling author, former Assistant Secretary of Education, and my teacher for the day.
So what message would you give to parents who are teaching for the first time and who are kind of like, I suck at this?
I think the first thing is relax.
Okay, I'm relaxed.
Remember, most parents are like you. You have a job, you have to do your work, and then they're also expecting you to teach your children. You're not a homeschooler, you're a parent.
Can you be my therapist?
Ravitch says that public schools haven't faced this type of challenge since, like, ever. And parents like me are forced to get creative during grammar lessons.
What does that even mean?
Nobody knows.
No one was really prepared for this. Not the public health officials, not the schools.
Not the parent.
Not the parents. And this is just enormously wearing. And I think that we really have to start to show a lot of respect to teachers because they've taken on an unexpected role.
Teachers are now childcare, tech support, social workers, and friends. Plus, they adapt their curriculums for, those idiot parents who may or may not know how to unmute on Zoom.
Oh dear. Can you hear me, Diane?
This is learning how to teach again.
It's really been tough trying to create the same type of atmosphere and keep a steady schedule.
It's far less heartfelt than it is being in a real classroom at this point.
Michelle, Antoine, and Asha are all teachers at public schools.
What would be your number one piece of advice to parents who are homeschooling for the first time ever?
I would definitely tell parents to be patient, ask for help.
Okay, so ask for help.
And guess what? Learning at home can also suck for the learnees. Wait a second, is that a word?
The virtual classroom looks very confusing to a lot of children. We are using things like Zoom and Flipgrid and Teams.
It's becoming harder for the kids to even understand the directions, and it's becoming harder for them to get help.
As opposed to just being a classroom teacher and having your 25, 30 children, I have about 500 children in mind.
Oh.
Because every single child has music in the building.
Having 36 kids in a class who don't speak English and are trying to learn English, who just got here last month, it's a difficult job.
Just trying to keep it exciting so that they don't feel like I could really just be playing Fortnite.
In the battle royale of video games versus Zoom lectures, it's game over for Zoom, but that's minor compared to this.
When we first found out that schools were closing, I learned that 2 of my 27 students had access to the internet.
It's called the digital divide, and while I thought my situation was tough, it's nothing compared to the millions of students who can't access online schooling.
Those inequities that we normally see in education are only going to be intensified because of this. And I really worry for my students and for their futures.
In an attempt to fill in the divide, teachers are getting crafty. They're leaving worksheets outside of schools, turning school buses into Wi-Fi hotspots, and reaching students in whatever way possible.
I am printing out resources and mailing them to kids from my house.
And teachers' number one priority? Social and emotional support.
Sometimes it's not even about an assignment. It's about just checking in on their well-being.
I am now a reviewer of TikTok dances. So my students know how to call me through the application that we use. So I get video chats multiple times a day where I critique their TikTok dances. So that's not a role I saw myself taking on, but I enjoy it.
Teachers have been doing this and wearing all those hats throughout our career. I feel like parents are really understanding how much time teachers put into their students and invest into their students in their classrooms.
Yes, even before coronavirus, teachers have been helping their students get food, basic necessities, and protect them from dangerous things like Betsy DeVos. And it all makes my questionable teaching techniques seem way less painful. Well, except for gym class.
As parents, we need our kids to go back to school. because if they don't get back to school, we become the homeschoolers, and then we can't make fun of the homeschoolers anymore because now we're the weird ones.
If there's anything good that comes out of this horrendous experience, I hope that people will, when school someday reopens, appreciate the teachers are really working very hard and that it's not easy. And when it's over, and it will be over, you're going to say to their teachers, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm going to vote for whoever is going to pay you more. I'm going to vote out the bad guys in the legislature, because one of the fundamental building blocks of a democracy is having a free and universal public school system.
Yes, please, trust teachers, give them the resources they need, and for God's sakes, pay them more. But for now, with no clear plan on how or when our kids will be back in their classrooms safely, I'm just gonna be the best damn math teacher I can be.
If Mommy has 3 bottles of rosé and you add 2 bottles of rosé, you know what? Never mind, I'm gonna have a Negroni.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button. You might be the 1 millionth subscriber, or the 1 millionth and 1th or 2th. I mean, who's counting? I am. Please subscribe.